Hello, partners from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Maayong hapon kanatong tanan mga partners, and would like to say hi to all of you who are joining us today in SAP Business One Production Module Refresher Training and a bonus session with Unicommerce. I think it's already half of the year, and it's our third refresher training, and we'll have 2 to 3 more before this year ends. So these refresher trainings are one of your perks of being a valued client of ARC1, because here in ARC1, we've always got you covered digitally and beyond. So to know the latest updates, please follow our Facebook and LinkedIn account, also to get a recap of what happened in today's webinar. We will be uploading it in our YouTube channel, so make sure you have liked and subscribed. So let's have review our webinar guidelines. So please introduce yourselves in the chat box with your name and company. And for better audio quality, kindly mute your microphones and feel free to share positive and optimistic comments. And any questions will be answered later on in the live Q&A. So for today's agenda, let's get ready to know the basic introduction module and to know how e-commerce technologies help businesses to get higher sales and growth. And now, with a passion for innovation and relentless commitment to excellence, our CEO has been an instrumental in steering our organization towards success. So let's all welcome Engineer Erwin Padrique. Hi, partner.
Hi, partner Fila or partner Fila. Maayong hapon, mga partner. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to our regular webinar, or we call it Tech Talk, where we share and conduct best practices, solutions, as well as technologies. Gaya ng sabi ni Fila, today's topic is very important. In fact, this is very important, especially to those who are into manufacturing or those who have production processes. Bakit nga ba? Kasi for today's session, we shall be reviewing the latest enhancements in our production module based on the current version of SAP B1. And as a bonus session, just like what Fila mentioned, as manufacturer, definitely there are instances that we think whatever is available inside SAP B1 may not be sufficient for our inventory management itself. So with that, we have actually invited into this session one of our technology partners who is considered the leader when it comes to e-commerce. You've heard it through the video testimonials a while ago. This company is none other than Unicommerce. So to talk about their solution and best practices when it comes to e-commerce, we have their Director for International Sales, Mr. Dharmendra Yadav, or Dar for short. Dar has been in the business for almost 2 decades now. His experience and expertise spans globally in helping organizations and businesses like yours be relevant and competitive in this age of AI or artificial technology. So friends, please welcome on camera, on the floor, Mr. Dharmendra Yadav. Dar?
Hi, Arvind. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Is I'm audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi.
Hi, 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 everyone. Thank you for the kind words, Arvind. Uh, so I'm very glad and looking forward for these sessions and to share the experience and the journey and how we can help retailers, brand owners to grow their business. I hope we can add little value uh, to the merchants and in their businesses. So looking forward for these sessions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dar. So, Phil, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, partner. So now, one of ARC1's champions, Mr. Naftali Balo, who has been helping companies from different industries to drive growth and success. So take it away, partner Nav.
All right, thank you, Fila. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Sige. Once again, maadjong hapon, good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to our session for the production module refresher. So basically this afternoon, I will be discussing about the basics of the production, and then I will also share some highlights for the version 10, especially on the web client, and some important highlights that I think would be useful for those companies handling manufacturing industry. All right, so let's start. Okay, so for the production concept, so for production module in SAP Business One, so SAP Business One can manage our production process, especially if we are handling manufacturing, and as well as if we have bundling of items. Like for example, for some retail and distribution companies, they have bundling of items. We can also use the production process for that, or the production module in SAP Business One. So basically, in SAP Business One, we need to maintain the bill of materials. For some, this would be the recipe. So the bill of materials would comprise of your items as well as your resources. Like for example, your machine, and as well as yung nagmamanage or gumagamit ng machine, yung labor. We also have here, once we start with the production process, so we need to create the production order. So the production order would mean the trigger for the start of the production process. After which, we can now release the components to the shop floor. And after that, the components are then drawn from inventory. So meaning after we create a production process or production order, we can now deduct the inventory or the quantity of those items na nilagay natin sa components for this certain production order. After which, if the goods are already finished in the production process, we can now trigger the report completion. After which, if we create the report completion document or report completion functionality, we can now receive, or the item or the quantity of the finished goods would then increase. The finished product is now added to the inventory. Okay, so let's take a look at the bill of material example. So the bill of materials, that's under the main menu, and then production na menu, and then the bill of materials. So as we can see here, we have a sample of a bill of material for a decorative wooden door. We have here a legend for the item and the resource. So for the items, in order to create a decorative wooden door, we would need a wooden door and a handle. As well as we also have some resources needed to create a decorative wooden door. Example of that, or part of the resources needed to create that, is the lathe machine and the machine operator. So all these na nagko-compose for this BOM, we would need to create that as an item master data. So see, wooden door would mean one item master data, as well as the handle, lathe machine, machine operator, and as well as the finished good, which is the decorative wooden door. So for this instance, we can have like 3 item master data or 5 item master data, but then now we create resource master data for the lathe machine and the machine operator. Next, after we create or maintain a bill of materials, so the bill of materials, we can maintain multiple, as many as kung ilan yung min-maintain natin na bill of materials in SAP Business One. So after which, if we need to create or to trigger the production process, we can now then call the bill of materials into a production order. For some companies, if made to order yung basis nila to create production order, they would need to tag the sales order for a production order. For some, the basis would be the inventory levels, so they can create a production order. So it depends on the company process. So for this instance, the production order, by the way, is under main menu, and then production, and then production order. So as mentioned, the bill of materials that we maintained previously, we can then call it to the production order to trigger the production process. So in this case, we have created a production order for 6 pieces of the wooden door. So the due date would be today, and then we have here the components of this certain BOM. So we have the wooden door handle, the machine operator, the resources, the machine operator, and the lathe machine. Okay. Next is let's take a deeper look at the bill of materials. So for the bill of materials, this is the same as the example that we have on the previous slide. So we have the decorative wooden door, the wooden door as an item and handle, the lathe machine and machine operator as the resource. So usually for usual scenario for some companies is they have a BOM within a BOM. So in SAP Business One, we can also accommodate those scenarios wherein we have multiple BOMs within a BOM. So say for example, we have item A with item AB as a component, and then si AB would then be another bill of material. So pwede din natin siya i-maintain. So for that instance, we have here an example. So for example, say decorative wooden door, we have the wooden door, but we also have another process or production process needed to create a wooden door. So for wooden door, we have 2 items. We have the wooden plates times 2. We also have the isolation filling, and we have a resource of pressing machine. So for this case, we also need to create another BUM for the wooden door, especially if we also maintain we maintain as inventoryable si wooden door. So we need din natin mag-trigger ng another production order for the wooden door if we maintain it as an inventoryable item before magamit siya. So we need to have, for example, if naka-inventoryable si wooden door, need natin mag-trigger ng production process for the wooden door, and then such time na matapos si wooden door, magamit naman siya yung quantity ni wooden door for the decorative wooden door, yung another higher level na BUM niya, which is si parent niya, si decorative wooden door. So you have here the interface of the bill of materials in SAP Business One. So ito yung need natin i-maintain in SAP Business One. So with the example that we had, so we have the wooden door, the handle, the lathe machine, and then we can also define or we can also indicate the processes. So in this case, we have here, we can input the text, turn 180 degrees. We can also indicate how many stages in one BUM for easier production order creation later on, especially on the issuance of materials. We can also indicate the stages. So in this example, we have here the product number. This is the parent item or the finished good. And then the BUM type is the production. Later on, we will also discuss about the different types of BUM. So for this case is the BUM type for this scenario is we have the production, and then we also have the warehouse. We also need to define the warehouse as to which warehouse we would be getting the components. Then we also have the price list and then the distribution role and the project. So we also have to define how many quantities of such components would be needed to create the parent item or the finished good. And then the UM name. Usually the UM name identified here would be the lowest inventory UM. And then we also need to define the issue method. Later on, we will talk about the issue method. Right, so we have here the bill of material types. So the one that we discussed in the previous slide is a production type. So if we have a BUM production type, this BUM would then only be used for the production process. So if we do a production order, that BUM type that we would only be seeing in the production order are those BUM types in production. So that's the purpose of the production BUM type. This is for the manufacturing or for the production process. So we also have other 3 BUM types. We have the sales, assembly, and the template. So for this 3, This is usually implemented if we have bundling of items or kits. Let's say, for example, for a furniture, or for example, a sala set. So a sala set would mean like one sofa, another coffee table, or other components of the sala set. So we can do bundling of those items. Instead of manually encoding the items in our sales order, we can use or we can make use of the these three BOM types para diretso na siya when we encode a sales order. In just or just calling the one item master data for the parent, those components would then be pulled together with that parent item. So later on, I will illustrate or display a differentiation of these three types. So in this example, we have here a cabinet kit. So a cabinet kit would have wooden plates, hinges, and screws. So we can use these three types. So for the sales is for the expectation of the sales type. For the sales type is the parent item would be displayed in the SO, but the components will then be also displayed in the under the parent item, but you cannot edit. So later on, and have here assembly first. So for assembly type example, we have here the router and the cable wires. Okay, so as you can see, the BOM type is assembly. So what would happen if we would call this assembly BOM type into a sales order? So once we call this item into a sales order, we cannot see yung components ng items, yung parent lang. But yung effect nito, once we do the delivery or AR invoice, automatic nag-out yung components niya, which is yung router and yung cable wires. So if you don't want the components to be seen in your marketing document or your printout, you can make use of the sales order. But for this one lang, hindi siya flexible. Like for example, variable yung quantities, di mo na siya may edit kung like for example, for one component item, pwede mong dalawa, pwede palang bawasan. So you cannot edit the components kasi ang makita mo lang on your sales documents would be the parent item. Another example or another type, we have the sales type. So in the sales type, as you can see, the BOM type is sales. And then we have here 5 components of this particular sales type BOM. So you have the printer label, laptop case, hard disk, portable hard disk, 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte. So what would happen if we call this item into a sales order? So as you can see, now call siya yung head, yung parent as well as yung components. But the difference lang for this one is, yes, now call yung mga components, but you cannot edit, you cannot remove, you cannot delete a row for the components. So say for example, hindi pala kasama si laptop case, so hindi mo siya madi-delete. So naka-display lang si laptop case. So this one, if gusto mong makita yung components ng parent item or yung binabundle natin na items. But if ayaw mo makita yung mga components, we can stick to the assembly type. All right, so that's for the sales type. Lastly is we have the template type na BOM. So for the template type, we have here a template with 3 components. So ang purpose of the template type is we can call this parent item into a sales document and as well as a purchase document. So say for example, we purchase items from a supplier na nakabundle din siya from the supplier. So we can create or we can just make use of the template type para nakabundle na siya sa supplier and then nakabundle din siya when we sell it to our customers. So unlike for the sales type and the assembly type, hindi mo siya mahuhugot or we cannot call those BOM types into a purchase document. So yun lang ang kaibahan for the template type example. So what would happen if we call the template type na BOM to a document for both purchase and sales? And as you can see, yan, nakahugot natin siya for both the sales order and the purchase order. And the good thing about the template type is we can delete rows. So for example, hindi pala kasama si laptop case, so pwede natin i-right click, delete yung laptop case para hindi siya masama doon sa sale for the certain transaction. Alright? So for the summary of the item categories na needed to create for those BOM types, okay, so for assembly type, we would need to have an item master data. The parent item must be a sale item. So as mentioned, si assembly and sales can only be used for the sales documents. So si assembly BOM must have an item master data na naka-sale item. So same din siya with the sales BOM. We can have a sales BOM if the parent item is a sale item. So this is mandatory. So for the bold lines, this would mean the mandatory, and then we have the blue optional lang siya. For the template, since we can call the template for both the purchasing and the sales documents, as you can see, optional siya for inventory item, sales item, and the purchase item. Lastly, for production BOM, so it is mandatory na inventory item talaga siya since we need to maintain the quantities of the items received upon completion of the inventory or of the process. So optional din siya na sale item because some BOMs might be used for another BOM kasi hindi nga siya for sale. It can be used for another production process. That's why it is optional for sale item. And then optional as well for purchase item. For some manufacturing companies, they have the option whether to purchase or to manufacture an item. So we have an option whether to purchase an item. All right, so we have here, we also have a way, say for example, we have an item now we need to update on the list of bill of materials. Like for example, a better alternative component would be introduced to our recipes or components. Like so for example, we have 1,000 BOMs and we need to update those. So for example, one item lang kasi may better siya na component for the previous na ginagamit natin. So instead of manually encoding or updating one by one those BOMs with the old component, we can make use of the component management or bill of materials component management in SAP Business One. So that's under the production module and then bill of materials component management. So this functionality allows you to perform changes for multiple BOMs. So we can add new components to selected BOMs. Ang pinaka-tedious na gamit nitong function na to is if we want to update the old item or old component to a new component. So instead of manually encoding those updates, we can make use of this bill of materials component management. So we can replace BOM components as well. Okay, so let's proceed with the production process. So for production process in SAP, that would start with the creation of a production order. And after which we can now release the components to shop floor and issue components and resources. And lastly, for the finished goods, we can now create report completion. So this one is the same with the production order that we discussed previously. And then for the production order interface, so we have here, it is almost the same interface with the bill of materials. We just copied the, once we open a production order and then copy the bill of materials or the bill of materials that we want to trigger the production process. And then we have here the status of the production order, whether planned or released. Okay, so once we create a production order at planned status, so the effect of this status would be in the inventory total and available inventory, the committed quantities of those components would increase, and the order quantity of the finished good or the finished item would also increase. So since i-commit na natin siya for the components, we need to trigger the production process. So nakukommit yung mga inventory quantities for the components. And effect din sa finished item side is mag-i-increase din yung order since we are expecting the finished goods once na matapos na yung production process. So to create a production order and release it, once we change the status from plan to release, we can now trigger the issuance of raw mats or the components. Okay, so next is we have the issue components and issue methods. So ito yung need natin i-identify or i-set up doon sa ating bill of materials whether an item should be a manual in the manual method or backflash method. So as you can see in the illustration, halos lahat naka-backflash, but usually we set an item as manual method in the bill of materials or production order if may possibility na magva-vary yung quantity na i-release natin, or we also consider the timing of the release of those items. So say for example, an item A, B, C, later pa siya i-release, or pwedeng i-skip muna yung pag-issue for those items, i-issue muna yung other item components inside that certain bill of materials. So yun yung gamit why we need to identify whether an item should be in manual method or backflash method. So we need to consider, or an item can be released on a certain timing, or the quantities can be increased or decreased depende on the scenario. For the backflash method is para siyang fix. So example of that is labor. So of course fix na talaga yan na labor, kasi whether dagdagan mo siya ng item or what, the labor would still be there for the production process. So usually ganun yung mga naka-backflash method, yung mga fix yung quantities, and then regardless if ano yung timing, that item should still be issued for that certain production process. So that's for the backflash method. And then next is we have the report completion. For the report completion, once we finish the production process, and now we are expecting the receipt of the finished goods, we need to create the report completion, or right-click report completion of our production order. So for the report completion, choose the context menu in the production order to report completion, and alternatively add a receipt from production document. So what's the effect once we create a report completion? The system will automatically receive the finished product into inventory. So once we create the report completion, our finished good quantity would increase, and then it would also issue the backflash components. So ang backflash components would be released later on, or after we create the report completion. So yun yung timing for the backflash, at the end part na siya of the production process. And lastly, it would calculate the cost of producing the item. Okay, so for the effect of the standard production order, so as mentioned kanina, the components, once ang status ng production order natin is planned, the components committed quantity would increase, and then for the finished product, the ordered quantity would increase as well, since we are expecting the receipt of a finished good. Upon completion reported, so since in-issue out na natin yung item for the backflash method, the components in the inventory or in stock would decrease. The committed would decrease kasi actually na deduct na siya in actual dun sa in stocks, and the finished product would increase, and the ordered would be decreased since wala na tayong ini-expect na receipt since na finished good na yung production process. So that's for the production order. All right, so let's proceed with the production module in web client. So take note, the web client is only available for the version 10 of SAP Business One. So for the web client, so it also supports the bill of materials creation. So that started with the FP2208 update. So we can now create a bill of materials in the web client of SAP Business One version 10, as well as the issue for and receipt from production. So this started with the FP2208 update, create receipt from production, issues for production. So pwede na rin tayo mag-issue for production inside the web client. So same lang, si web client, once we access the web client, same lang siya na access with our SAP B1 desktop client. So ma-access mo na rin si web client as long as you are in the version 10. So for example, open tayo ng web client to see kung ano yung interface ng production. So click lang natin yung web client and then log in lang natin, same credentials with our login in the SAP B1 client. So as you can see, we are being redirected to a web browser. Log in lang natin yung credentials and then ito yung interface ni web client. So as you can see, we have here the production module. So bill of materials, receipt from production, or the other way is through the tiles. So we can click on the tiles. We can also create those documents under these tiles. Okay, so ayun yung for the web client update with regards to production module. Next is we have the production version 10 updates. For the production module version 10 updates, we can now drill down the parent item na diretso siya, mariredirect siya to the item master data. For the previous versions, if say for example, meron tayong production or meron tayong BUM type na production nasa mga sales documents natin, once we click on the yellow arrow, mariredirect tayo doon sa bill of materials or the BOM. But for the version 10, we have the option na once we click on the yellow arrow of the parent item, parent BUM item is mariredirect na lang siya sa item master data. For the previous versions kasi medyo tedious siya kasi once we click on the parent BUM na item master data or item code, may mariredirect ka doon sa bill of materials and then i-click mo pa yung yellow arrow para ma-redirect ka ulit dun sa item master data. So for the version 10, once we click on the yellow arrow of the item code, may redirect na tayo dun sa item master data. So direct drill down to item master data record now possible from the parent item number. The benefit is more intuitive and direct navigation between bill of materials and item master data. So that's under the general settings. But as long as we are on the version 10 of SAP Business One, so i-click lang natin na open item master data na once i-click natin yung BUM or the item master data or item code. Next is we have for 2405 FP variance report enhancement for production orders. So the report now includes fields such as issue type, source journal entry number, source document, target document, and inventory valuation method. So this is when we click on the summary under the production order. Once we click on the total variance yellow arrow, meron na siyang additional columns na dinidisplay. So this would be useful if you want to trace what causes the variance of this production order. Next is we have still on the update of the version 10 production module. We can now, for production orders as base document in procurement confirmation wizard. So we can now make use of our production orders as basis for the procurement confirmation wizard. Okay, so the procurement confirmation wizard is we can automatically create purchase orders from base documents. Like for example, on the standard, usually for the previous versions, we create procurement confirmation wizard calling SOs para directly ma-create ng PO to the supplier. In this case, parameter na rin, the production order is also a parameter in the procurement confirmation wizard. Next is we have edit, close, or canceled production orders. So for the canceled or closed production orders, we can now update these fields even if closed or canceled in the document. So the remarks, the pick and pack remarks, reference, or attachments. For the previous versions, once closed or canceled ang document, we nag-gray out siya, so we cannot update the remarks field or other fields inside the document. So for version 10, FP 2008, we can update those these fields: remarks, pick and pack, reference document, attachments, and the user-defined fields on production order. And then lastly is for the deletion of the bill of materials en masse. So we can now delete multiple bill of materials for the version 10. So say for example, we have erroneous bill of materials. We want to clean up our database with all the bill of materials. So meron na tayong option under bill of materials management. So we can now create multiple bill of materials. Okay. So I think that's it for my topic. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them away during our panel. Thank you, Fila.
Thank you, partner Naf. Now, we have Mr. Dharmendra Yadav, the Associate Director of International Sales from Unicommerce. So he will cover the latest strategies and technologies that can help businesses boost their e-commerce sales and achieve rapid growth. Take it away, Dharmendra.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Being happy, so happy to see the people are participating in the quiz. Hi everyone, good afternoon. I am Dharmendra, and today I'm going to cover the topic on how to grow your sales in terms of online and offline, and what are the various tools which has been used by the players who are successful in the market. Being in today's scenario, everyone is selling online and offline, but they're struggling to grow their sales. So I'll try to just cover few of the topics, though there are various tools and software available in the market. I'll try to put focus on the tools which are highly used by the players. Okay, so I'm just trying to help you out on how to grow your business in that. So before that, let me quickly brief you about the background about my company, what we do exactly, how we are helping retailers, brand owners to manage their day-to-day operations and grow their business. Okay, so I am from Unicommerce. Unicommerce, we are a leading SaaS-based platform headquartered in India. We currently helping more than 3,500 clients across multiple categories in terms of retailers, online players, or brands, or offline to manage their day-to-day operations, process their activity, the sales part smoothly through our platforms. We currently handling somewhere around 750 million transactions through our platform. That is how strong the platform is. And if I talk about the stability and other things in India, we are the number one player catering to 20% of e-commerce which is happening in India. And we have a presence in 6+ countries. Means apart from India, we do have a presence in Southeast Asia. If we talk about Southeast Asia, like Philippines is the major market, and from there we have Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia. And all together, my solution is being used by more than 8,000 warehouses, 1,900 plus stores. I think is more than now 2,000 plus stores are integrated to our systems uh, uh, and managing the day-to-day operations and processing the orders. So talking about, as I mentioned, we help currently more than 3,500 plus clients are using our solutions. I try to just mention few of the names from the various categories just for the reference over here in terms of various segments like the top name. If I talk about in terms of marketplaces or D2C brands or large offline brands or the 3PL logistics. So you can see large offline brands like Adidas, Jack and Jones, Vera Moda, Eda Mama, Paragon, and Myanmar. They are the clients who are using our solutions from day one to manage their day-to-day operations. Marketplace like Farmeasy, Lenskart, Wavco, B2C brands like Mama Earth or Ada Mama or Pure Play. If I talk about the logistic player, you would be knowing JNE Logistic, AHSpeed, Local, Payo Asia. They are the clients who are using our operation, our systems at the back end to successfully run their operations in terms of the inventory and the order processing. I've, if you talk about the Philippines only market, so these are the few clientele. We have just tried to cooperate few names over here. You can see like we're using our solution like just the Edamama, AgeSpeed, Stance, Asia, Unit, IdeaCo, Mac Asia, Renus, Jensen, TGP. Just we have tried to mention the few names here over here who are using our solutions, to whom we are helping. My team is helping in day-to-day operations in terms of growing their e-commerce business and effectively manage their offline business as well. Now, talking about Unicommerce, what we do exactly means I'm talking about we are helping retailers, brand owners to manage their operations, to grow their business. But how we do exactly? So what we do, we act as a nerve center for any of the business. So we light in the between of all your operations. So what we do from where you sales, like your all your sales channel, whether it is online or offline or your retail store or your marketplace, that all get integrated with Universe panel. Okay. And similarly, parallelly, we get integrated with your warehouse, your logistic partners, and suppliers. So all your ecosystems get incorporated in the Uniware panel, and through which you'll able to manage your entire business from a single panel and help you to reduce your reporting structure and increase the business efficiency and help you to reduce the cost as well once you're using a single channel or single platform to manage your entire day-to-day operations instead of driving focusing on 10 different panel or sales of channels to gather the data, your reports and other things, which is a very tedious job for the teams and the management. All this get integrated with their accounting and ERP systems to for the tax filing. So it becomes very robust and scalable platform for any of the players and very easy to manage the entire process with our panel. So that is how we are helping retailers, brand owners to manage their entire e-commerce operations and offline operations. I'll talk more deeper on my next slide. So talking about the solutions now, I talked about we act as a nerve center, but what we do exactly is like, right, what are the solutions which we offer through which we are helping retailers, brand owners to grow their business. Now, there are channels through which you sell, right? But at the back end, you have a warehouse where you manage your inventory. Then you have a marketplaces, and then we have omni channel for the big brands. I'll take you one by one on not in depth because we have lack of the time. I'll try to tell you more about the multi-channel warehousing, omni-channel marketing, and later on the slide, how what we do exactly in all of this in terms of multi-channel warehousing and omni-channel. And one more thing, if you have any query questions, please don't hold your questions. You can put your question in the chat box so that from the chat box after this presentation, I'll take up your queries and try to answer it. Okay. Now, in e-commerce or your offline world or online world, what is the important thing? Like we are selling to the customers, right? They are the customers. Everyone who have the product, they need a customer to whom we want to sell the product. So that is the important aspect of your any of your business. In the back end, like we have the inventory, the product, and the things, but to whom you are going to sell? That is the more important question. The customers. Now, question first comes whether you know your customer or not. Whether you know your customer or not, and how effectively know what is their buying journey, how what they purchase, how many time they're spending on, how many minutes or hours they're spending on your platform or on your stores. How do you know that? To answer that, there are various tools available in the market, right? To which you can actually gauge your customers. That is very much important, right? To gauge your customers, what they like, what they're not liking, and accordingly, then you build your product, your marketing strategy, keeping the customer in the center, right? So there are tools. One of the tool is like heat map tools. Now, what that does for you, heat map tools is nothing but when any customer comes to your website, you track his journey from where he started, what are the time he's spending on, what are the number of minutes or hours he's spending at what particular page, what particular products he's looking for. So this helps you to gather the data and understanding your consumer buying behavior pattern. For an example, being as a Dharmendra, I come on your website and I just log in a website and I'm just looking for the product. I spend some minutes on that particular minute, like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. If I'm spending that minute in your that particular page, that shows that I'm interested in that particular product. Or if I spend only 30 seconds on any of the product and just moved on, that means I'm not interested. So if you're able to gauge this data at the back end, that it will help your marketing team. Okay, this customer was interested in this particular product, whether he has purchased the product or not, then you can get, if you purchase the product, next time you can showcase the same product when he comes on the website. Or if you had not purchased the product, and if you have the database, if you have come with the new product, You can, through marketing automation tools, you can just send him the details. Hey, we have a new product which we are looking for. Would be interested to purchase? So this is one of the tool which generally we have seen like players are using in the to gauge with the customers. Second is the marketing. When you understand the consumer buying behavior, like what he is looking for, what he want to purchase, what he is purchasing. A second step is like email marketing. You're reaching to the customers, right? How you reach to the customers. Now, question again comes whether I'm reaching to the right customer or not. You need to take care of that part also because marketing takes huge lot of budget from your pocket. So while doing the email marketing, you should be very much clear, like with who are my target audience, whether I'm doing the marketing to the right audience or not, right? And then once you have the data, like you can do the personalized message directly to your customers. And this makes customers very feel okay. I am receiving some personalized message. That means customer is the company is looking at me. They know my taste and value, and they're sending me the message. It gives a good feel happy factor to the customer also, to you consumer also, that the company knows me that I'm purchasing the product, right? And then other things is like you have to segment your client base also. If you have a product which deals in kids, or if your product deals in like say some adult clothing, or in some mechanical tools, so you should be segmenting your customers and accordingly do your marketing campaign. It should not be like I deal in automobile and I'm sending the message to the student or the kids. That is the wrong process, wrong way. How are you able to track this? Just through the email automation process and the data which you're capturing at the back end, which I mentioned on my previous slide. Understand the consumer buying behavior, right? And this will help you to track your campaign also, which you're spending on your marketing, whether the amount which I spent, whether I have got that particular ROI or not. So this is another tool which you can use it. Next one is, and as I was talking about the lead generation tool. The last two is like how I'm going to generate the tools, how I'm going to capture the data, I mean, how I'm going to capture the consumer data, or I'm going to generate the lead. Now there are various tools available on the website, through which you can capture the data of your customers. But how to capture the data is like, as soon as any customer comes on your website, you can pop up something like very lucrative kind of discount coupon, something. Hey, put on your number and name and get 10% or 5% discount on your next purchase or the coming purchase, right? Through which you'll able to capture the data, which will help you to generate more leads and help the marketing team to reach out to the right client also. And all this gets integrated with your uh, email marketing. So once you gather the data, get it integrated with your email marketing campaign, the tools which are there, so that automatically the marketing can happen, right? Then is second is like loyalty. We talk we are I'm talking about the customers, we talk about the customers, the business and everything. Now let it be online and offline. We know that customer is not loyal to any of the brands. Customer is more of the price centric and the quality. Now, how are you going to retain the customer on your offline business or online business, right? So there should be some rewarded to be given to your customer so that he come back to you to purchase the product again, like whether you're in the store also, or at the online also. Until unless you're not going to incentivize your customers, they're not going to purchase. Like how you all be using your credit card and debit cards, right? And you'd be getting your rewards over here. What makes you more motivated? When you spend, you get certain rewards. So you feel, okay, next time I'm going to use this card only to get more rewards so that I can purchase something or on an air mile or something. Same way, you have to use this in your business also, uh, to incentivize your customer so that he can come again and again to purchase the product so that you can recover the cost. So in the e-commerce world or offline world, when you're spending any amount, on the average, what is being said is like when a customer purchase third or fourth time, then only you're able to recover your money what you spend in the marketing. If you purchase one time, the second time you're not able, it's still you have not recovered the money, the amount you spent to bring that particular customer on your website or on the store. So you need to start doing some sort of loyalty program to incentivize the customer and get the customer back to your website or the stores. Okay. The another important aspect is that we talked about the customer. Now, how you're going to get the customer until unless you don't receive the orders or the inventory in the online part orders. Now, how you receive the orders? orders. Once you have the inventory at the back end, on the basis of inventory only, then you're going to achieve that particular order. And when the place, if there is no inventory, that means there is no order. There is no order, that means there is no customer base. We have to very much focus on the inventory part, inventory management system, warehouse management system. It should be very robust, scalable, integrate with all your channels. That is the backbone of your any of the business. The warehousing system or inventory system is the backbone of any of the business. So you need to start focusing on this particular tool as well. Now, as I talked about that, we provide various services to our clients through which they're able to process their orders and manage their day-to-day operations. The first was the multi-channel seller panel, right? What is this multi-channel seller panel? It is nothing but getting all your sales tool on a single platform. So, for example, if you're selling through Lazada, Zalora, Shopee, Amazon, or through your own e-commerce website, through Shopify or Magento, or your own store, it gets linked with a common platform which is Unicommerce, and through which you push your inventory or data to all the channels. The advantage is, what is the advantage of this? I'll just try to put in an example over here, showing if you have in between the Unicommerce and if you don't have. So, for example, if you don't have any middle layer in between, and you're selling on marketplaces like Amazon, Lazada, and Shopee, so there is one product which you have 60 pieces. What will you do? On your own logic, you'll divide your inventory between these marketplaces. Like Amazon, I have updated 30 pieces, Lazada, I have updated 20 pieces, and Shopee, I have updated 10 pieces. Right? So you've divided your inventory between these marketplaces. Now what happens? The marketplace doesn't work on this. Marketplace always works on the logic. Higher the inventory, higher the sale. In this scenario, inventory got reduced, and it is not the right way also sell. And it is a very tedious job for the team also to regularly keep tracking the inventory. Okay, I have received one order from Shopee. Now automatically update the inventory, download the Excel sheet, update the inventory, then again upload in the marketplace. In this, what happens? You start losing your sales or start getting over orders through which your chances of getting the panel get blocked is very high because of unfulfillable orders. So what we came with the solutions. Let's have a panel in between where like there is a 60 pieces. It gets pushed in the Unicommerce, and from Unicommerce in all channel you can see there are 60 pieces. So if you received any orders, automatically inventory get reduced and get updated automatically real time on the various marketplaces. So what happens in this scenario is now you're able to increase the visibility of your SKU. Now instead of 30 pieces, 60 pieces is available. Instead of 10 pieces, 60 is visible on Shopee. Right? So your visibility has increased. Once your visibility get increased, your order volume get increased. And once your order volume get increased, but obvious your sales get increased and your revenue get increased. So you have to focus on this. You need to have some middle layer which manage your entire operations activity, right? So this is about the multi-channel. And another question comes for any of the branches in my warehouses, I have my SAPs or ERPs, right? My inventory is already managed at the SAPs and ERPs. How I can still use Unicommerce and manage my operations or marketplaces. So what we do is we do the integration with SAPs and ERPs. So all your inventory which you're selling are there in SAPs, you push it to Unicommerce, and from Unicommerce it gets pushed to your respective channel from where you're selling your Amazon, your Shopify store, or Shopee. So you're able to manage the entire data. And as soon as you receive any orders, automatically all those orders automatically get pushed to your SAPs also. So we do the integration with SAPs so that you seamlessly capture the information of your online and offline business. Right. Talking about the next solution is warehouse management system, which is very important factor. Generally, what we have seen, many of the players ignore this. They said, okay, I'm selling on the online part, I'm selling offline, I have the stock in my warehouse, but how you're managing your inventory on the Excel sheet. So you don't have the clear visibility of your inventory which is lying at your warehouse, right? Which again, what happens if you don't have the systems, it is like you're losing your sales. So once you have the system in the place in the warehouses, let it be a small warehouse or big warehouse. We generally insist please start using warehouse system so that you have a real time visibility of inventory which you're holding at your warehouse. Whether you're selling an offline doesn't matter. You need to have a system so that you can access the system from any corner of the world and you know your the business, what is coming in, what is going out. So warehouse generally consists of various aspects. It's like inbound and outbound. In between inbound and outbound, there are various other factors like your inventory management, your return management, and other things. So what happen in warehousing? You do the inbound, right? Inbound. So there is a vendor against which you raise a purchase orders against that he send you the product and you do the inbound. In Unicommerce, we have built the Unicommerce, the WMS system in such a way like we it helps the entire customers who deals in multiple categories from GRN to quality check to assigning bin and right. So even a big warehouses who have 100,000 square feet or 400,000 square can easily run their operations. You have various bin rack or zone section in the system. Same can be get incorporated in the systems virtually. And when you do the inbound system will tell you, okay, you have to keep this product at particular shelf or rack. And once you receive any orders, automatically system will tell your picker and packer, okay, you have to pick this particular product from this particular zone sections of bin and rack. So when you're using the system, it's like you don't what we have seen, like people are remembering the product in the warehouses. Okay, this product has been kept at this particular location, and many times it has been found like the picker picks the wrong product and dispatches the wrong product. What happens is that you get the product returned back. There are two-way logistic costs implied on you. So you instead of making money, you start losing the money and paying to the logistic companies. If you have the system, it always reduces the human error and help you to reduce pick the right product and send the right product to the customer. Right. So we have built the system keeping in the point of view the entire automations part, less human intervention in the systems, and you pick the right product and send the product right to the customer. So from GRN to quality check to assigning bin and right. Then we have built the system in keeping the mind of FIFO and FIFO. There are client customers who required first in first out. There are customers who deals in pharma or FMCG. They would be needing expiry management or batch management. So we build in the system itself too, so that you don't have to use multiple systems to manage your entire operations. And then proper return management. If you received any product at the back at the warehouse, you should be knowing against what order I am receiving this product, who is the person who is returned from which channel. And once you taking inbound again as a return part, whether the product is good or sellable or not, it should not get be put in the product. If it is damaged, should not be get put in the product which is sellable. It should be kept separately. So all these things has been built in the system in the point of view to help retailer brand owners to manage the operations, and that is how we're helping retailers to reduce their manpower cost and other costs by sending the right product to the customer. Talking about our next solution, which is omni-channel solutions. Now, what is omni? First question is what is omni-channel solutions? Many would be knowing, I hope, but still I'll explain many of the people who doesn't know what is omni-channel solution. Omni-channel is nothing but there are the big brands who sells through their online channel and they sell through their offline stores. They have multiple stores, like 10, 15, or 100 plus stores. Now, in current scenario in e-commerce where there's a cutthroat competitions of giving the user experience to the customers, like quick delivery, 4-hour delivery, 10-hour delivery, 12-hour delivery. How is it possible? Have you ever thought is like, it's just because of the omni-channel solutions. And if customer place an order, I want to increase my user experience and want to get product delivered in say 2 hours. But how that can be possible? Product can be delivered in the 2 hours. It's like through the omni-channel. So what happened is like we club the entire thing in a single channel, whether you're selling through your mobile app, whether you're selling through your website, whether you're selling through a marketplace or point of sale, kiosk, all they get clubbed in the union panel. And once you received any orders, what we do, there are certain logic has been built in the platform. So if a customer placing an order from Makati and there is a store in the Makati, automatically order will route to the nearest store of Makati, and from that particular store you can deliver the product to the customer. instead of getting your product dispatched from Laguna warehouse or from Rizal warehouse or other warehouse, right? If you have a store in Cebu and customer is placing an order from Cebu, so why to send a product from Makati or Manila to Cebu? If you have a store or warehouse in the Cebu, let order get directly land at that particular store or warehouse and dispatch the product from that particular store or warehouse to the customers. So there are two advantages of this. It helps you to enhance your customer experience because you're delivering the product very faster. Customers getting the product in 2 or 3 hours or 5 hours. Secondly, you're saving the cost in logistics. Instead of sending the product from Manila to Cebu, if you have a store in Cebu and you dispatch the product from Cebu to customer, your logistic got get reduced. Instead of spending 100 peso or 200 peso, you deliver the product in 50 pesos to the customers. So that is how you're able to reduce your cost and increase your profitability if you're able to capture. Because in e-commerce or offline world, what you see the major chunk is been taken by the logistic companies. They take a major chunk of profitability. If you start concentrating on that, it will help you to increase your business, right? So as I mentioned, through our solutions, what we have seen is like overall as customer using the Unicover, their sales has been increased by 20 to 30%, and they're able to reduce the manpower cost by 30% by using the system in place. Their inventory cost has been reduced by 25% just because now they have the system. They're able to track the system very effectively, the inventory very effectively through the system. Okay, these number of units are lying at my space. Okay, I'm about to reach to some replenishment level. My inventory is reduced to certain level. I have to reorder the inventory and other things. Once you start getting those data automatically, it helps you to uh, manage your inventory effectively and grow their business and sales very smoothly. And overall, you're able to reduce your e-commerce returns also because you're instead of sending the wrong product many times through the system, you always capture the right product and you send the right product. So your returns get reduced and your profitability get reduced. So that is how we are helping our retailers, brand owners to increase their operation, business, the productivity part, and other things. Yes. Yeah, this is more about the Unicommerce. That was about the presentation. Happy to take care of the Q&A if you have any questions or other things.
I believe, Sir Daryani, there was a question. Someone is raising their hand. It's Zenith.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dharmendra.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so now please answer this quick survey form flashed on your screen. Scan it using your camera phones and you will be redirected to a form. So by answering, you will be or you will get an entry to our raffle draw. So scan it and also the link will be also be sent in the chat box. Okay? So now let's call on our panelists for our live Q&A. We have Mr. Naftali Balo, our SAP Business One Solutions Architect, and Mr. Glenn Mujeres and Mr. Alain Arabe, the Account Manager for Visayas and Mindanao, and Ms. Marife Crucero and Mr. Ruel Abustan, the Account Manager for Luzon, and Mr. Dharmendra Yadav from Unicommerce. So the floor is now open for your questions. Are there questions already? So can I do the honor to start? So I'll ask Neftali. So Nef, what is the latest patch level or the FP of SAP Business One?
Yes. For the latest FP or feature pack of SAP Business One, it was just released this month. We have the FP 2408. So it means it's a FP for 2024 released this month, August 08.
08. Okay. Thank you for that, Nev. And another one for Unicommerce. So, how Unicommerce is different with the other platforms? You can answer that, Dharmendra.
Yeah, sure, Phila. So what makes Unicommerce's difference is like the way we have built our platform, keeping in the mind of all business perspective. Generally, what we have seen in the market, the system which are available in the market does not cater the entire requirement of the customers. Like there are 3PLs who deals with like FMCG segment, pharma and apparels. They are forced to use the multiple systems to manage their entire operations at the warehouse. So we came with the solutions. Why not to have a single solutions which will help them to manage the entire operations via a single platform itself. Plus, our system are very much robust and scalable. If anything, new features or functionality comes in the platform. So generally, e-commerce is more about the new features and functionality keeps coming up, right? So we need to be ready with that. So generally, what we have seen in the market is like client has to pay for that particular feature functionality. But in Unicommerce, it's like if any new feature functionality comes, uh, there is a team who's already working on that, and it get added automatically in the platform. So client doesn't have to pay for that; it automatically readily available for all the users. So yeah, these are the more things. Plus, apart from support and functionality, uh, that we are far better on that part. So that is what makes us difference in the market.
Okay. Thank you. So we have a question from Miss Rosalie Bukol. Can we update location on allocated stocks to other warehouse, Nev?
I think that's for Dharmendra for
Dharmendra.
the
Okay.
warehouse.
Sorry, what was the question, Phila?
Okay, the question is, can we update location on allocated stocks to other warehouse?
Yes, you can do it to other systems. You can allocate this inventory at any of the locations. If you want to transfer your inventory from one shelf to another shelf, or from one zone to another zone, or from one warehouse to another warehouse, you can do it very easily through the system.
Okay. So any more questions? Okay, we already have 14 responses from the survey. So we'll be giving out 500 pesos care of Unicommerce. So please answer the survey form. So another question for Unicommerce. So how does your support look like in case of concerns and inquiries in the system post subscription?
That is a good question, Phila. Actually, what we have seen, everyone when sells a product, the support and the customer feels like there is no support factor, and that is the USP of Unicommerce. So in Unicommerce, we are very customer centric company. So what we do is like when we onboard any of the client, we assign a dedicated account manager for each of our client. So from for the new customers, once you onboard, so there is an account manager who helps them to onboard the entire journey and train them how to process the entire thing. And apart from this, there is a dedicated account managers for answer your day-to-day queries. What we do, we try to create a WhatsApp group or Viber group or other group where we not only add that account manager, the senior person also get added in that particular group apart from the emails. So if customer faces any issue, he put in any query or concerns in that particular group. We ensure that the account manager immediately responds to that particular query and it has been addressed. If it is not been addressed within a few minutes, and so senior persons generally look into the same, and we ensure that the query or concern which has been raised has been answered to the client and in an appropriate time without hampering their business. So we are very much strict on the customer support part. That is our the core strength, and yeah,
Okay. A follow-up question. Is there a limitation to number of users or warehouse that can be created in the system?
I know the good point is like we don't have any limitations of users like other player provides that they charge you on the number of users. If you have X users, you'll charge X amount, and if you increase that the users. But in our system, there is no limitation because users is like there could be picker packer or other guys who will be needing the system to process the orders. So we don't restrict on the limitation of users. Uh, you can create unlimited of users in the system.
Okay. Thank you. So are there any more questions from our attendees for today? So okay, another one from C-Trade. In production module, can we update cost or unit price of inventory and finished goods?
Update cost or unit price of inventory or finished goods. You can do that through the inventory revaluation, Ms. Rosalie. So depending on your evaluation method, so you can set a new price or a new cost based on your assessment or evaluation in the inventory revaluation document.
Okay, any more from our attendees for today? We have 25 respondents already. So I think before we'll end our Q&A or panel, may I ask siguro an ending statement from our panel? We'll start off with Neff, and Glenn, Marifa, Ruel, Elaine, and Unicommerce.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining for today's session. So I hope you learned something. So if you have concerns, especially for the production module, if you have issues or concerns, just raise a ticket to our SAP B1 Care ticketing system. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Brednev. Hi, everyone. Maayong hapon. Good afternoon. So thank you for joining us this afternoon and always supporting our webinars. Again, as mentioned by Neff, feel free to contact us anytime. Send us an email, call us, no? And then that's it. So thank you. See you next time.
I would like to thank ARC1 team, our partners, and our partner technology for today's event, Unicommerce. So see you on to the next refresher training. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.